I've got the brand new Smart #1. Yes, that's its name because it's the first model to come out of the rebirth of the Smart brand. They've gone to a totally new direction. Smart have created a full bespoke premium electric SUV. But we're going to give it a full test drive and review and find out if it's worth it. But most importantly, we'd like to know what you think. Let us know in the comment section below what you think after this video of the brand new Smart #1. So, the smart car started life in the early 90s, and it was a design project from Nicholas Hayek, the actual CEO of Swatch watches. He wanted to incorporate the personalization and modular design of the Swatch watches when designing a car. It needs to be eco-friendly, cheap to run, and would of course carry a crate of beer. Nicholas Hayek decided to go with Mercedes. Then, come the late 90s, then released the Smart #2 Coupe. Since 2006 all the way to 2019, they have been making the Smart #2 and the Smart #4 hatchback, even electric as well. And in 2019, Mercedes decided to do a joint venture with the Chinese manufacturer Geely. Now, Geely actually own Volvo and Lotus. The Smart name actually stands for Swatch, as in the Swatch watches. M for Mercedes, R. Swatch Mercedes R. So let's have a look at the front design of the #1. It's designed by Mercedes, it's also developed by Mercedes, but it's made in China. This actually shares the same platform as a Volvo EX30, which is due to come out. As you can see, it shares some design cues of the Mercedes EQ range, which is Mercedes full electric range. It's got this very prominent LED light bar here. This is a daytime running light, but also you get a funky little light animation when you turn the car on and off. So it kind of looks modular, but it isn't. It's all intact. If you do enjoy this content, which I'm hoping you do, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do. I kind of like the pebble front design, rounded, short bonnet finish, gives a bit of character. You've got a prominent grille at the front. This will house some of the sensors, front-facing cameras here at the bottom. You do get a sort of frunk or fruit compartment here. It's just enough to put some locking wheel nuts and the compression kit. Maybe you can house the cables in there, but I'm not too sure. But everything just feels well made. You can tell it's Mercedes-esque. I've got the premium trim here. It is a 5-door SUV. You've got a 2-tone color options. This is the light green with 19-inch alloy wheels. You can actually go trim higher as well with a Brabus edition, and that will give you an extra motor. This is just a single motor which drives the rear axle. It's a rear wheel drive, and range you're talking about up to 270. Remember, that does depend on how you drive. Charging times are pretty respectable actually. It's only a small 66 kilowatt battery. Only 62 kilowatts is usable, but you can get an 80% within 30 minutes on a fast rapid charge. So let's take a look at the side profile. Kind of looks a bit modular, kind of separates the top from the bottom with this belt line, with this chrome design here. Rear tinted windows at the back, but I like how clever they've been with the design. It looks like the top has got like a helmet on it and it's just been added on. You've got the Smart badge as well. This C stands for compact and cute, and the arrow is facing forward, which means forward thinking. What do you think of the design? Is it forward thinking? Let me know in the comments below. You do get some pretty cool features though. If you walk up to the car, you get these flush door handles and they open up. It's even got the Smart logo on. Shows like the spotlight of the Smart logo. Looks pretty cool. Chrome detailing on the side skirt there. That's where you will charge. Nice little Smart logo there, and a DC and AC charging port in there. By the way, it does stand out. A lot of people are looking at you when you are driving this, because most electric cars are quite dull and boring, but this has some character. So let's talk about the rear design, and there's a prominent light bar again, just like the front, similar to the Mercedes, sort of like the EQB. And this is your brake light as well. You've got a rear brake light here. This does give sort of an animation as well, which I'll show you here. The light animation is pretty cool. Smart brand logo here. Glass rear panel with your rear wiper blade. Got the #1 again to signify the first of the new era of smart cars. Smoothed indent here at the bottom. This is all plastic here at the bottom, but again, it gives that sort of modular look and kind of works quite well. Just a small diffuser at the bottom and slight chrome detailing at the side. It looks quite modern and mature. I feel like that's what the Smart #1 is. It's like a more mature outlook of what the Smarts used to look like. So let's have a look at the boot space. Now, Smart do promise 273 litres of boot space, but you can actually extend that all the way up to 411 if you do move the seats all the way forward. That's not the full true story, because you do get a lot of underfloor space. You can actually get rid of this panel here and you'll see it's quite deep under here. There's no load lip actually. Do get some little nets at the side here and you've got a ski hatch there. It is an electronic tailgate, as you can see, but you can even customize the height in which the tailgate opens on the touchscreen at the front. So what's the interior like inside the Smart #1? As you can see straight away, quite a funky vibe in here. Smart even quote that the cabin space is equivalent to a Mercedes E-Class. So, I mean, that's impressive. It feels refreshing. It's unlike any other electric car out there. Most electric cars nowadays are quite bland and boring inside, but this feels futuristic and new age. Some white stitching across the dash with this soft leather incorporated with this black inlay here, and that lights up at night like a light bar. It feels quite like a well-made white iPod-ish finish. Feels rather smooth. It doesn't feel cheap. Even around the air vents you get some ambient lighting. But this, they've actually used the space. Feels like you're in this kind of divided little cockpit area. Even just opening the glove compartment feels very well built. Got a cubby space in here with some rubber effect there just to keep things in hand. Maybe like a handbag or a gym bag. You get an opening dash here. Feels quite like a really slow release shutter. 12-volt socket, 2 USB-Cs, wireless charging mat, so you can place your phone in there. So it will fit every phone, and you can just close that and use the dash. The touchscreen itself is floating as well. It's not connected to the back. Got a huge 12.8-inch touchscreen. Most electric cars that have you using the touchscreen to navigate menus and the settings can be a bit of a nightmare, but this just seems very innovative. You've got voice assistant on here. Now, most voice recognition systems in cars quite useless, to be frank, but this is something different, and I'll show you now.
How can I help?
Close the back windows.
Okay, closing the right range.
Turn the air conditioning off.
Okay, turning off AC.
Wait, oh, by the way, tell me my range.
Remaining travel distance is 252 miles.
It just works. It's quite conversational, as you can see. It works really well. Everything's just laid out really nicely. Got some sort of apps here as well. The cameras are great. Very nice resolution. It's very crisp and clear. The graphics can seem a bit childish. It might be good if Smart maybe develop a bit more mature looking sort of background, but do you know what, it kind of bodes with the sort of funky style. You do have some touch sensitive buttons at the bottom, but again, they're really responsive and work well. But also you've got a 9-inch digital cluster as well, which is quite thin, but it does the job and it works really well. It's got a really clear heads-up display as well. Everything just feels really refined. When trying to adjust the wing mirrors, you don't get any sort of buttons here, which conventionally they would be on the driver's side, but instead you've got to go into the settings and adjust it yourself. Do get automatic folding wing mirrors as well. But yeah, the cabin feels very nice and airy, especially when you open the sunroof, which goes all the way back. So even for tall people, space is really good and legroom's really good inside here. On the A-pillars, which is clever, you've actually got your Beats audio. The audio is really impressive in here actually. You've got a lot of sound deadening within the car. These seats are very comfortable. You've got some like white plastic inserts on the headrests. They feel well bolstered as well. They are electric seats back and forth. Even on the plastics on the door bins, you would feel would be quite hard. They're actually really nice to the touch. Even the door bins are quite wide. You've even got frameless windows as well. You get a nice steering wheel. Feels rather firm but well made. On the steering wheel there's no capacitive buttons, it's all physical buttons. Got some white stitching, kind of squared off steering wheel with the Smart logo on at the bottom. This actually lights up as well at night. Just like Mercedes though, you do get a stalk gear selector. It's an automatic. Got an SOS here and touch sensitive lights with sunglasses holder and a very nice vanity mirror. The lighting on there is quite nice as well. So it all seems rather nice and new and space age, which is what people want really when they're buying an electric car. They want to feel like they're part of the future. You have got loads of headroom at the top here. I'm just around 6'2", and I'm going to open that sunroof anyway so you can see. But it just lets a lot of light in. But even with the curved roof, it's very clever because the roof actually doesn't start dropping until after your head. So that's moved pretty much nearly all the way back. And I've got loads of leg room, I think even in the middle. That's impressive. You can even move the seats forward for more luggage in the back, but you can even move them all the way back to the position as well. You've got no transmission tunnel. A little bit of a cubby hole here with your air vents. Now the air vents do have ambient lighting inside as well. You get a USB and a USB-C as well. Seats are very comfortable. The headrests can be lifted. Even on the headrests as well, you get the white stitching. Same cushion, black leather. You do get Isofix as well. Nice foldable armrest with cup holders. You even get ski hatch as well, so you can pop some stuff in the back. Even with the tinted windows, you get a very nice view. Your windows don't go all the way down, which is a bit annoying. And you also get a little C-pillar at the back. Even on the door handles, you've got your Beats logo speakers at the bottom. We've even got some tiny speakers at the back. We've even got some touch sensitive reading lights with almost like a diamond effect inside. They've really thought about everything. This is more a crossover SUV for the city and everyday use, I'd say. I wouldn't be doing any off-roading. However, saying that, it does have a hill descent mode, but it doesn't say you can't drive over a few muddy patches. But let's give it a test drive and see what the new Smart is like to drive. You do get some looks in this car as well. Not many of these on the road. Like fresh and uplifting. It doesn't seem like a dull car. It's definitely got a lot of character. Just try a launch. Don't think you have a launch control or anything, but we'll try that. Yes, brisk enough. I've mentioned it a few times, but that's the good thing about electric cars. You just get that instant torque. And 0 to 60 in this, about 6.7 seconds. Quite nippy actually. And this isn't even the Brabus edition. Steering feels pretty well weighted. It seems to lean around the corners rather well. It does have a little bit of eagerness about it, but nothing that would say it was incredibly fun to drive. But there is a sort of playfulness with it being a smart car you'd expect, but it's obviously matured a little bit. So what's the suspension like? Well, I am in sport mode, but it doesn't seem that bad actually. I'm going over some pretty big bumps. You can hear them, but you don't really feel them. You are in an electric car, so you are going to pick up on bumps a lot more than you would in, say, an ICE car. Some electric cars are just really jiggly on the road and you jiggle about a lot, but this just seems quite smooth. It does handle rather well actually. But you can change the powered steering, so you can have it really soft, but also quite heavy. Okay, that can be a bit annoying. I'm sure you can get rid of that or try something a bit different. You also get a really good driving position and visibility. It's quite unique actually. It's unlike a driving position I've ever had before. With the lowered bonnet, feels like the track of the road is literally just flying under your legs. Feels like you're peering down onto the road. It's got lane keep assist, but it's rather different. It's more intuitive. Remember, this is a smart car. Instead of just having a beep now and again, you actually get some nice kind of rumble or feedback in the steering wheel, and it just shudders through your hands. There's a little bit of body roll at higher speeds, but it feels well composed. You can feel it's trying to pull itself back into the center position rather well. It doesn't seem lofty. There's not much road noise or wind noise coming from here. It seems quite nice. The regen works really well on this car. As soon as you take your foot off the brake, you can definitely feel it pulling back to help store the kinetic energy back into the battery. You can adjust that, but you don't have any flappy paddles on the side. You'd have to go into the settings and adjust it that way. But you've got your driving modes. Pop into sport, kind of leans off a little bit. It's not as harsh. There's a nice kind of weight to the braking. It's quite a smooth braking experience, not too grabby or punchy. So let's wrap up this video review on the new 2023 Smart #1. Smart have come a long way. They've had to go through a lot of trial and error to appeal to the masses. You can't really blame Smart for going this kind of way. We've all kind of seen what happens to brands that don't adapt to the times and trends, and I'm hoping this is the #1 for them. This is a smaller battery to keep the costs down as well. It's quite competitively priced if you think about all the features it's got. Definitely gives a bit more of an appeal to a standard sort of Mercedes. I'm actually really surprised at how good this car performs and how innovative it is. However, you do need to take a little bit into account on the boot space. The range, yes, it depends how you're going to be using this car. If it's in a city, it'd be perfect. But if you are going from doing long distance, I do feel the range potentially could be a little issue. But I don't think you could go wrong with the Smart #1. I think it's a smart choice. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Is the Smart the #1 choice for you? And a big shout out to Smart in Stockport for letting me review this new #1. If you are interested and would like to know more, I'll leave a link in the description below. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Stay tuned and look forward to seeing you on the next one on Is It Worth It?